All right, guys, this is a lesson in how to journal in our physics journal. Physics journal. Every day we're going to do this. First thing we do is put the date over here. And I've already talked to you about the idea of solving problems, and everything has a price. And solving a problem has a price, it has a cost, and therefore we have to pay for it. If you want to solve a problem in your life, it's going to cost you something. There's going to have to be a sacrifice, and so there's a price put on it. And so that's what the scientific method is. If you remember from the scientific method, I want to kind of make a note over here, and I'll erase this in a second. But the scientific method, we'll use blue, is basically like have a problem, and then you do a little research on that problem, and then you come up with a hypothesis, and then you test that hypothesis with an experiment, and then you gather some data from that experiment, and then you evaluate the data, and then you present all that information to the other scientists in the world so that they can duplicate your experiment. They can duplicate your solution to your problem. Well, that's great, and we're going to use that idea of solving problems in our classroom. And so I'll leave that on blue. So we're going to use this concept of paying the price every day, and we're going to start that with a problem, and that's going to be in the form of an EQ or a vocabulary word that I put on the board, or some sort of problem, and I'm going to present to you what we're going to kind of look at that day, some new kind of stuff. That's why we're in school. And then you're going to do a little research on that thing. As soon as you come in, you're going to write this EQ down, this vocabulary down, whatever it is, and then you're going to do a little research. You might even know something about it, so you might write down the concept that you have had prior knowledge of it, or you did a Google search on it, or you talk to your friends about it. Whatever, however you get a little information about the problem, gather some stuff that some information about it, and you're going to come up with your own idea. And this is basically the hypothesis part of the scientific method. But for our purposes, we're going to apply the scientific method every day in our classroom. So this is where you come up with your own idea for solving or answering the question, what does it mean? Why is it important? How does it work? When do we see it? Anything, what, when, why, or how? Any kind of question that you can come up with that has to do with that you might have that has to do with the problem of the EQ of today. And then we're going to have class. So what that means is these first three are done before class starts, as soon as you walk in, and then these three will be done after. So we're going to journal as soon as we come in, and the last thing you do, you're going to journal. So then we'll have class, and then this right here stands for class. Actually, let me go ahead and write that down. And this right here will be evaluate. All right, so when we're done at the end of the day, you're going to write down what we did in class that day. Maybe we'll use orange for this. Maybe we did an activity, and you put the activity name down. We might have done a lab. We might have done a worksheet. I might have lectured. We might have worked on projects. We might have taken a test. Might have taken a quiz, exam, whatever. Whatever we did that day. And you'll write down some information about what we did, just real brief. How what we did kind of applied to the idea. Just as long as you write down the name of that, for right now it'll be good. And then you're going to evaluate your hypothesis. You're going to see how well you predicted. And basically, you're just going to kind of, yes, I was right, no, I wasn't right. And then you're going to write down maybe a little snippet of what you learned, like with, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. And I'll write that down, a little snippet, look that word up, of what you learned. And some days, you're going to this is going to be a difficult process for you. Some days you're going to struggle with something specific. Other days it'll come a little easier. But as you go through the day, when you learn something new, pull out your journal and go ahead and write it down. You don't have to wait till the end to do it. But as you go through class, oh, that's pretty cool. And you can go ahead and write it down under the class or evaluate section. All right, so there is the first kind of general overview of how we're going to journal in our physics notebook or in our physics journal. So let me see now if I can get us a new flip chart in here. There we go. So let's do a quick one right now. I'm going to go ahead and give you an example of basically the first day of class. Physics journal. The topic, we'll put the topic at the top, and our first unit is nuclear physics. And the date is 8/2. Well, the day I'm doing this is 8/2/16. And so then you just start. The problem is significant figures. And, if I were doing this is the one I'm doing. So my research is I actually did have to Google this thing and prior knowledge. I had a little bit of knowledge. I mean, I had to kind of refresh my memory exactly what the rules were. But so I did a little research, and I had my own idea. My idea was that significant figures help us measure stuff. And you might say, well, I thought you're the teacher. Significant figures help us measure stuff. All right. And, well, I am the teacher, but I'm always learning. That's why I am the teacher, because I like to learn. All right, so now I've done with my class at the beginning. I've kind of got my head wrapped around what I'm going to be working on today. So I'm going to go ahead and write down here C and E. And all of this is on one page, and it kind of blends together. These steps kind of blend together a little bit. So in class then, you're going to say there was a lecture over significant figure rules with examples. And then a worksheet, solve problems. All right, so that's what we did in class today. And then the example is, I may write down the 3 rules, and I'm not going to tell you what those are so that you can learn them. But anyway, that's not important for the process right now. And then, maybe we'll also write down an example. 3.14 has 3 significant figures. All right, so then that kind of might be what I write down for today. It's just a general way to get class started, a general way to end class, but the main idea is the concept of cost. It will cost us something. There is a price to be paid if you want to get anywhere, if you want to learn anything, if you want to do anything. The scientific method and the engineering method at the same point. It does the same thing. Scientific method solves problems. The engineering method, design process, builds actual structures. It builds things that have solved, that help solve problems. But anyway, that's for another class and another day. This is our journal, our physics journal example and guide. Commit it to memory. It's an everyday deal. It'll be part of your grade. You're awesome.